Hey Ivan, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Doing great. Doing great. So welcome, and I'm really pleased that we will be now speaking as well how the OHSC, how the safety and lean, how they are linked together, which is great. So thanks that you accepted my invitation, and let's get started. So
Okay.
probably just tell me, how about your career? What are you doing? What does it mean? What does it mean, health and safety consultant? And what are you doing?
Well, I'm in the health and safety consultant within a company. It's called PPSafetyco Solutions. I'm the founder of the company, and after serving many years with different corporation, I decided to actually establish this company and provide consultancy in mostly in how to build a safety culture, how to improve accident statistics, how to reduce number of accidents, and also what I'm doing is I'm providing also the kind of like a mentorship to different health and safety guys who are, for example, quite new to the company and they have not enough experience running the HSE for the company. So that's what I do at the moment. Yeah.
And previously, because I'm pretty sure your experience, it's not just, a few years, but long, long. So tell me about, you mentioned the corporation. So I was working also 18 years in the corporate. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's I'm a civil engineer by my background, but must admit that I never did a civil engineering job. So after graduating at the university, I actually joined a tobacco company, international company. That they had a manufacturing site in my birth town,
Hmm.
and I spent 4 years within this company, and then I moved to LPG business. That was with the company called Shell, and
Hmm.
after a couple years, I actually got an offer to work for the petroleum industry. So petroleum industry means like a downstream petrol stations, and I was responsible for Eastern Europe, Central and Eastern Europe operations within 4 countries.
Hmm.
I had also the opportunity to work for the international chemical company. They had 4 manufacturing sites and 36 warehouses in Europe, and I served as a European health and safety leader. And most recently, I was as a business unit EHS leader for the international company producing electrical and electronic components for various businesses like automotive, medical, aerospace, defense, and marine. And I was responsible for the business unit operating 17 manufacturing sites, total about 7,500 employees. So I had
Wow.
sites in Europe, I had sites in China, also in US, in Thailand, and so on, so on.
Yeah. So I see you have great experience from all around the world. Can you see some differences? I mean, if you compare one country and another country, can you see the differences? I mean, how they really, respect maybe the safety rules or how they are open for safety. Could you see some difference, or you would say each country it's the same?
I would not really definitely not say that they are the same. I could observe that the approach to to health and safety in US is really different. This is where actually this is why I like actually working for the US
Mhm.
companies because you see that the health and safety is actually in their blood, and it comes from the management and is cascaded from top to down. So that's actually very helpful. While in Europe, in specifically in some countries, I don't want to be specific. We are mostly like a legislation driven, you know.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's if it's on the paper, then it's right. But in US and also in UK, I see that it's more like a what makes sense actually, and that is what I like about my job.
Okay, you are coming to my next question. What motivates you? Yeah. So what is the purpose of life for you? Because sometimes it's very hard, the safety. Because my experience with safety guys, was that they were not too much. They were like the lean guys. Yeah. In many cases, we were not really. They didn't like us too much. Yeah. So is it? Do you have the same experience? Oh my God, safety guy is coming, or they just loved you?
Yeah. I mean, it's I think what has changed actually. What I'm doing now, I'm providing consultancy work. So I'm traveling, visiting different customers, and what I like about my current role is that people, they are valuing my expertise. I mean, I have more than 27 years within health and safety, being responsible also for environment. So people, they really acknowledge my skills, and they are taking my suggestions seriously. That's one of the things that motivates me as well. Then I can also see that I'm making a visible difference. So if they have 18, 20 recordable incidents and you reduce by half within 1 year, definitely you are bringing less pain and also less cost. What I like also is to work with different teams in manufacturing environment. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I like also kind of like a mentorship. So I mean, it's a mentoring specifically young guys. They are coming from the small company with 100 employees, joining the company that has 1,500 employees. That's a big challenge, to understand the whole structure and communication within a bigger company. Yeah, so this is what I like about my job.
Oh, that's cool. And I really love it. Yeah. Just tell me, what was your turning point? Go from a huge global company for your own, business, because it requires quite as well, the mindset change, because to be entrepreneur or to be employed, it's, mentally, I think it's probably different. Yeah.
It is actually, but I mean, I gained a lot of experience working for the different environment, for the different countries, and I thought actually that now it's maybe the time to fulfill my dreams. I mean, in my career, I started as a health and safety guy. I didn't mention it to you yet, but I also had an opportunity for 1.5 years to serve as a plant manager at one of our facilities in the Czech Republic. So 800 employees, big challenge. I like that very much. But one of my dreams was also to actually be entrepreneur and be kind of, I call it like a from the other side of the barricade, to see how it works. So that was my dream, and I decided after many years working for the corporation that maybe this is now time. I still feel like a young guy, so why not now?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. For the OHSC, what do you like the most? Of course, you already mentioned, less incidents, less injuries, but really, what really not just motivates, but really what really drives you that you like it so much.
I like to work with people, and I don't, to be honest, I don't like procedures. I don't like writing a lot of actually extensive papers and so on and so on. I really like to work with people, with teams, and see that. I mean, you change the behavioral, and as a result of changing the behavioral, you see less incidents. So again, working with people, this is actually fulfilling me. Yeah.
Okay, which is cool, and it's always it's always very close to that, because for me as in a lean, it's always everything as well about working with people, making to working as a team together to achieve some efficiency improvement. So I think this is something what we have in common. Yeah. What do you see probably the biggest challenges in the OHSU?
Well, I mean, it's as I said, what I'm providing the consultancy, and what I'm seeing that my customers, they are asking more and more about mental health and well-being. You know, I think addressing the stress and the typical burnout. So kind of like a psychological safety in workplaces is coming more and more as a question. So it becomes more and more priority. To be honest, this is more for the like international companies operating in the Czech Republic, and they are asking about this kind of the service. So that is one actually challenge that they are facing too. The other one is how to adapt to new working models. I mean, like these days you see more and more people they want to work from home, so home office, remote work, and that actually means there is a lot of challenges, like okay, you work alone, how to control your work environment, how about your ergonomics, and so on, so on, you know. So that is the second challenge that I see. And then the third one, and it comes to what I'm doing, is the safety culture, how to switch from legislation compliance to this building the safety culture that helps you to reduce accidents. Yeah, and I know that Ivan, you probably have the same experience while you were working as a lean leader, yeah, for the international company. You had to see similar kind of like environment when people they rather wanted to go away from legislation to actually building the culture within the company, right?
Yeah, yeah. For me, and I was very closely in one of my company. We were doing and printing the packaging, and with a lot of
Okay.
colors and inks, and we have like 1,000 tons of inks. So it was quite danger environment. So there was a high risk of the fire ignition. There was high risk, of all of this. But we were really closely working together as a team. So me for the CI part and lean part and portion. I have the OHC guy that I was very, very closely working with for the safety stuff. In the team, we have as well the process engineers, we have the production quality guys. And with this one, what I like, it was really the combined approach. So whatever we wanted to change,
Mm-hmm.
it was us as a team, we make the agreement here. And with this one and this process, then we call it the change management here. So we were sure that whatever we implement, whatever we change, it will be either safer or higher efficient, or less quality issues. But sometimes what I see that a lot of people are implementing something,
Uh-huh.
I mean, individual in silos, but they don't take in consideration probably some safety risk or opposite the
Mm-hmm.
safety. You implement something and you don't think in consideration probably this have negative impact on productivity or the quality. So I think what I really like, it needs to be the team exercise
Mm-hmm.
embedded in a team, and this is how I was driving it, and I think this was working. Unfortunately, I don't see it too much often, yeah, and it's a pity.
Okay.
And I think it's really pity. So this is my experience, yeah, from the big corporations.
I see. I see. Okay.
You also mentioned the home office, and for me, quite interesting the point, the OHSC and somebody working from home, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what can go wrong, or because of course in the factory the injury is clear. Whatever happens,
Mm-hmm.
in your property, it's the injury, yeah. And then of course you
Yep.
have the investigation. You can run some risk analysis. But for me, the question is now, what can happen during your home office? And what is the countermeasure, or the corrective actions to prevent it? Because to be fair, I've never heard about it, and I'm really curious, yeah, from the OHSC point of view.
Well, typically, I mean, that the biggest risk that you have, I mean, you are working in your home environment, so you start with how to set up your table, I mean, what kind of the computer you are using, the position of the monitor on your table, how is your chair, and then you should take also the frequent breaks, and really the ergonomics issue, because you are sitting all day long, you are not moving so often like you would be in the normal environment where you go for the coffee, you chat with your actually colleagues, and then so on, so on. So ergonomic issue. The other issue, as I mentioned before, is a mental health and well-being.
Mm.
Realize that typically when you are in an environment, you are socializing, throughout the day. While when you work alone at home, that the situation is that you don't have anyone to chat actually. So I think you somehow you are losing kind of like a connection with your colleagues. I mean, you can make phone calls online with using the camera, but it's not the same. Yeah. So that's the mental health is a little bit difficult. The other thing is that, I mean, when you go to the normal, let's say the manufacturing environment, you go in the morning and then in the afternoon, let's say 4 or 5 o'clock, day is gone for you and you are finished. While you are sitting at home and working from home, there are no clear boundaries, you know. I mean, that's you can suddenly realize that it's 6 o'clock. So I mean, kind of like a work-life balance when you know, okay, today is the end of the day, finished. This is more difficult. Yeah. So typically, I mean that companies that they have a lot of people working from home, they dedicate time and provide a special training how to set up the workplace and how to actually exchange with coworkers.
Okay, very good. How about the injuries? Yeah. Have you needed to deal with the injuries? You know, somebody working from home having some injury, and how is it counted? Does it count? Does it not count? How you make the corrective action to that? Yeah, because
Well, typically when you start to work from home, you have to get the approval from your HR department, and typically HR department requires that you conduct kind of like we call it self risk assessment. So you have kind of like a checklist, and you go through that, okay, and you check that you have gone through each item within a checklist, and that is really the basic. You know, you have to also make a picture of your work environment as kind of like a proof that you conducted the risk assessment, and people they want to see your area where you work from. To your question, I mean, yes, I mean the typical accident that you can have is um, and it's work related because you work from home, same like you would work from the manufacturing environment. Um, like people are falling from the staircase. People go to the kitchen, make a hot tea, and they suddenly they burn their hands. You know, uh, there can be also the accident that you have a, let's say, dog at home. You know, and your dog actually bites you. You know, so I mean, it's these kind of accidents. Yes, you will have to investigate. Quite frankly, the difficulty is how to prevent such some of these, you know. So I mean that you have to actually kind of like a coach the person and go, even you have to go to see the environment and help to improve the situation. Yeah.
Do you see as well? Because we had one not from working from home, but also interesting. I would say the injury, and it was not in Czech Republic; it was in Spain, and
Uh-huh.
it was that even the trip to work and from work still counts into the working, conditions. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and there was a guy really riding the bike, and he was riding and he slipped on the shit. Yeah. And he had some injuries. Yeah, and we were really, thinking how to prevent this. Should you be riding more careful, etc., etc. But for us, it was quite, how you want to prevent, how you want to really find the
Yeah.
root cause and the prevention, because it was, definitely not typical. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's commuting to work and from work to home. It's quite often source of accidents. Some countries they record it as a work-related accident. Some countries not. So this is really different based on the legislation. But I mean, for example, in the winter time, you can still teach people actually things that they should observe. I mean, at minimum, like I don't know, winter tires. You know, check the windshield and so on, so on. So I mean, it's more like actually teaching people rather than actually physical prevention. Yeah.